With head coach Jay Thomas, the Demon football team is midway through preseason camp. It's hump day, it's Wednesday, and Jay, your second week of preseason camp, so you really are at the middle point. How is your team doing through this point?
We're at the middle of it, and this is what you call the dog days of camp. You know, it's in the second week. We're in the middle of that grind. You know, the guys are doing a tremendous job pushing through it. We feel like we're in a really good spot where we are right now. Everything has been really great, been awesome from the very beginning, and you know, moving into the dorm and doing something different this year and having the whole team stay together. But it's really been great. The guys are really starting to bond. They're playing dominoes together at night and cards. So that part's been really great. On the field, we continue to get better. You know, it's very important that we don't get the cart in front of the horses, so to speak. But the guys are working hard. They're pushing through the heat. Last week it was really brutal, and but the guys did a good job. You know, we have to give our strength staff a lot of credit, preparing our team, getting them ready for camp, and the guys came in really good shape. And then, of course, our training staff is doing a tremendous job icing our guys down. We're getting in cold tubs, getting our legs back underneath us. And then I have to mention, you know, Sodexo cafeteria. They've done a tremendous job feeding our guys. We're getting the right fuel in our bodies right now so we can get to practice and give maximum effort. And they've done, just a beautiful job of helping us with our snacks and then, of course, preparing our meals. But everything's going really good. We're continuing to get better in every phase. We still got a ways to go, but, you know, where we are today, we're 2 weeks out from the first kickoff.
So when do those final depth chart decisions have to be set?
Well, you know, we're saying we're breaking camp this Saturday, but next week is really still a camp week for us. School's not starting until game week. We're going to do a little bit different. We're going to have mock school week next week. We're going to practice once a day. We're not going to do any two-a-days. We're going to have football 101. We may have stretching 101. We're going to put it on, you know, a typical Monday for them, you know, a 50-minute class. And then on Tuesday and Thursday, it'll be an hour and 15-minute usually class. I think that's what it is. But we'll have things for them to do in the morning to do that. But the end of this weekend, we'll take everything and we'll evaluate it Sunday, and then we'll start setting depth charts usually Monday, Tuesday, and then we'll start preparing for game prep for the first game.
The thing you didn't spend a lot of time on in team situations in the spring, special teams, is a pivotal factor, particularly early in the season. Yeah. You see so many games turn on special teams. How much emphasis have you been able to put on special teams, and how far along are you knowing that the first game's 2 weeks away?
Well, we've elevated that. You know, in the spring, we didn't do a lot of schematic type stuff with our kickoff return. The schemes are very simple to learn. The techniques are the things that are difficult to get done and taught. So in the spring, we worked all the drills, came back. We've been going through a refresher course the first week, continuing to work the fundamentals and the drills. We've got the base schemes installed now over the last 3 days in our kickoff coverage, our kick return coverage. We're still working our punt block techniques, our hold-up techniques right now. So we're right on course, we're right on schedule. We're going to continue to install. We're using our two-a-days, our AM practice to get all our installment into our kicking game package, and then we come back in the afternoon and we get to work it with pads on. So it's progressing nicely. We need to continue to work at it. You know, our guys are really, with an exception of maybe one afternoon that I got my blood pressure up about, but they've been really, really good about paying attention and following directions and trying to get done what we're trying to do in our kicking game.
What have you learned about this team that you didn't know when camp started?
Well, I'll tell you what, you know, I think that the closeness, the family unity, you know, we saw a little bit of it in the spring, but you know, the enjoyment they have around each other and being around each other, and you know, it was there, but we didn't get to see that. Now we're getting to see that special bond between them, and that's off the field. And I think that's very critical because it leads into your locker room, and then it leads into what you're trying to get done if you're on the bus, you're in the hotel and preparing for the football game, and then pulling for one another to have success during the game. We are on the same team. We're all doing it together. And I think that's been the biggest surprise and enjoyment for us as coaches, to see that uniqueness of them becoming together and working together as one.
Looking ahead to the remainder of preseason camp, what things need to happen? What does this team need to get done before game week approaches?
Well, I tell you, we're getting to our situations now. We've been able, offensively and defensively, work every down and distance situation. And now we're getting down to the finer points of getting things taught. For instance, tonight we're working our 4-minute drill in team. So it's getting to the nitpicky situations that we need to rehearse it. We need to work it. We'll continue to work it again next week for 2 or 3 times. But 2-minute drills tonight as well. We're starting to get into our situations, special situations with the kicking game as well. We need to continue to progress in those areas to get ready for the first game. But the timing of the offense needs to obviously continue to get better. You see flashes of it, and every day it's getting better and better and better. You see defense beginning to not make as many mental mistakes on lining up correctly, running blitzes correctly, not busting coverages. I think the biggest thing, too, that we got to continue to work on is our discipline. And we started that way back during spring training. Our guys have really bought into it. They got a great understanding of what we're trying to get accomplished in that area. And, we're going to play a lot of tough ball games throughout the year. And it's going to come down to discipline. And it comes down to discipline to get you in the fourth quarter where you have an opportunity to win a football game. Very pleased with the scrimmage last weekend. We ran 85 plays. We had 4 penalties, 2 pass interferences. And when one personal foul was called, it was on a long run, and running back was using the stiff arm and just got it caught in the face mask. So it hadn't been any late hits. We hadn't had the fighting. We hadn't had all those things that really can set you back as a team, and you lose great field position. And and like I mentioned, there's so much parity now. Penalties are very crucial, and we just got to continue to stay with what we're trying to get done, and hopefully that leads into the first game.
Saturday scrimmage coming up. How important is that for you as coaches for this football team?
Well, I think it's huge. You're 2 weeks into it right now. It's going to give us one final opportunity to really evaluate the 3 and 4 deep. We're really concentrating on the developmental guys is what we're saying. The developmental, just because we say they're on the second defense or the third defense doesn't mean that these guys don't have an opportunity to line up and play for us this year. Obviously, we will need a lot of those guys to do it. But we'll make a decision on each young man once we finish this scrimmage. It's very critical that we make good decisions. And, for the young guys, the speed of the game is so fast for them. And then it's 2 areas we got to be very good in. And it's, mentally being able to pick up the concepts of what we're trying to get done, and then physically being able to play the game. So, we look forward to it. When we get in there, we want the guys to go all out. Now, we're probably going to be in a thud type situation, not taking backs to the ground, but everything else will be live, and we're trying to keep everybody up. And so we got everybody ready to go, and we got all our bullets loaded in our gun, ready to fire on the 29th.
You were like a kid in a candy store yesterday. Dr. Julian Bales, renowned neurosurgeon, came by and talked to the team.
Yeah.
Used to play for the Demons, and also obviously is a leader in trying to advocate more safety in football.
Yep.
You really enjoyed visiting with him. Talk about that a
I
little
was. I was tickled, to have him, in short conversation that we had, learned a great deal. And we're going to continue to learn a great deal, and that's where we're trying to take our program. We're trying to take it to the next level and be 2 steps ahead in the progression of the scientific end of football and the safety of the sport. And I'm all for that, and protecting players and making sure we're teaching the right fundamentals our guys blocking and tackling. The game's still simple, it's still blocking and tackling. It's still a physical game. But if we can do a better job, preparing our guys in practice and then being able to perform it in the game is very critical. So sitting down with him and, he being one of the leading guys, in the NFL on the research on concussions, it was really neat to hear what he had to say about that. And of course, I think he's on a committee right now for the NCAA. They're heading up a committee to research that as well. And we talked about a little meter that they're putting on the back of helmets as an experiment, just to see how many impact blows that are real significant, and it keeps the total amount during the day and the course of the week. That, to me, man, I love that. I'm learning, and it just makes us better coaches, and it's the day and age of that. But it really started way back, for me, a long time ago, and I've been blessed to be around a lot of really good coaches and always taking care of the players and prepared them and got them ready to play games. And so with him coming in, man, it was just so exciting to sit down and be able to talk about some of that research that they've done.
All right, last question, a little bit more football centric to your team this year. Once you get past the scrimmage Saturday, you've got your mock game next Thursday night, but at what point do you start turning attention to Missouri State and your first opponent?
Well, I'll tell you, without our players knowing it, we'll have some things in there once we clear out this weekend, going into Sunday night. We'll still work against one another, good on good, for a few days, and we'll continue to do that as we go into game week. Won't be quite as much, but just so we can keep our game speed up. But we'll start implementing certain looks, offense, defense, and in the kicking game early next week. But full blown, once we get into the mock game, and the mock game is a dress rehearsal, just where to go and stretch and pregame and the sideline, getting all the headphones out, checking everything, communication, on and off the field, and we'll play a whole game in all the different situations we'll get to work during that game, anything that could potentially happen. So then it'll be full focus from that point on Missouri State, but we'll slowly ease it in there and get a few extra days.
With Tucker Nims, senior tight end of the Demon football team, midway through the second week of preseason camp, Tucker, the simple question is, how's camp going?
It's really hot. But, camp's going really well. Coach Thomas has really helped. He's saving our legs a lot during this year's camp. It's a little bit different than the ones I've been through the previous 3 years. But everything's starting to come together as camp goes along, and everybody's getting more and more used to each other. He's got to stay in Barnardo, so we are getting enough of each other. But no, as a whole, I think defensively, offensively, and special teams, camp, is going just about as good as it can right now.
Let's talk about the Barnardo dormitory experience. 74-year-old dorm, nothing but football players in it for the duration of preseason camp. What are the benefits, and have there been some funny moments?
There's a good bit of benefits. It's very cold. The air conditioning actually is freakishly cold. I don't know why. The beds are a little small, so some of the bigger guys may have a little trouble. I don't know. We've had a couple of funny moments. The first 2 days, the cold water was the only thing that worked in the shower. TJ player usually takes about 3 hours to wash his hair. I don't know if you've seen it. He likes to condition it 2 or 3 times. And we've had a few ginger sightings with Blaine Cole. That's expected, though.
Well, what about from a practical standpoint? The reason you did this, the team is there to build chemistry, camaraderie, that sort of thing, and has that been successful?
Oh, yes. I was telling Coach Thomas the other day, I wish when I was a freshman this would have happened. I feel like, especially for the older guys, we know each other, but the freshmen can come in. They're not all alone in their own place, not knowing anybody. They get to be around all of us and see how we act, and, can just become closer, as a whole team, and it really does. It works.
Okay, let's talk specifically about the offense. Clearly a different offense than what we've run in the past. You had spring, and now you've had a week and a half. How close are you to feeling that the offense has a command of the scheme and we're ready to run?
It's getting really close. You know, the other night, in our first two-a-day at the end of the night, it was the first time I've seen it completely just click on all cylinders, and everybody was understanding what's going on. You know, I mean, just like with anything else, when you bring something new into a program, it's going to take a while to establish itself, especially with a high-paced offense that Coach Brown runs. But, you know, I have to give it to him. His offense is freakishly brilliant, and everybody's starting to learn it better and better, you know, all the way from the offensive line to wide receivers to running backs, and the quarterbacks are really getting a command on what looks they're going for and what checks, and it's come a long way. And I think even as we move into the season, it's going to come a lot more, and it's going to be a fun offense to watch. I can guarantee you that.
Okay, we're midway through the second week of camp. Between now and game week, what does this team need to do?
It just really needs to stay focused like it is right now. You know, these last few days of camp are really crucial in my mind. Everybody's hurting. Everybody's a little tired. Everybody wants to go back home, sleep in their big beds. I understand that, but you know, focus is the key, because you know, once we get back into a week-to-week routine, it's not going to be any more installing whatever. We're going to start scheming for a new team. So we really have to polish up and finish what we, as an offense, defense, and special teams, know what to do along the lines of technique and positioning ourselves and things like that.
What has surprised you about this camp?
That's a tough one. You know, I'd say the heat, but that's every year. It has been a lot hotter than I remember. I don't know if I'm getting older or what, but I guess how much closer I am kind of to everybody. I mean, really going back to the aspect of staying in Barnardo, you know, it really is kind of fun, you know. I mean, everybody's, you know, in pain, but, you know, it's been fun being around everybody. So especially because it's my last year, you know, it's the last time I get to do this. So, you know, I'd have to say that's the biggest different aspect of it all. But, you know, I mean, it's been a great time.
You say the heat, that's been a constant through your football career, wherever you've been, whether it's been Lafayette or here. But days like today, how about the break in the weather, and how do you guys loving that?
Last night and this morning, it was the greatest thing I've ever experienced in my life. It was better than anything I've ever seen. You know, when you go out there, especially last night, the sun is beaming down on you, and you're just like, man, here it goes again. And then all of a sudden, that rain cloud moves in, and it just, the cool air, and it's really like Christmas. I mean, that's how I feel anyway.
Did you guys do a rain dance?
TJ did. I know he thinks he's Indian or Canadian or something. I don't know what he thinks he is right now. He's got a lot of different stuff, but he did some type of dance. I don't know. He said it's you know, it takes a while to learn how to do it. So, you know.
It worked.
Yeah, I guess it did work.
Yeah.
You know, I guess I'll give him credit on that one.
All right, last one. The scrimmage Saturday, the second major scrimmage. Not that y'all don't do things each day that progress the team. How important is this one scrimmage to preseason camp?
I mean, it's important because it's really the last major time all the coaches will be able to see us before we go to Missouri State when we're lining up against somebody different. So that's probably the most important aspect of it. You know, there's a lot of position fighting right now. A lot of people, including myself, you know, there's a lot of people that may have played these past 3 years, but you know, it's a new offense or a new defense, and it's a new style, and a lot of people are fighting for positions. And this is kind of the last look the coaches are going to get until we lock it up against somebody else. So I think it is a pretty big deal, you know, especially amongst the groups on the team and everything. Because I mean, you got to love that though. When you have competition at every position, it makes everybody better.
We're with senior defensive tackle Lesley Deamer midway through the second week of preseason camp. Deem, let's get an update on the Demon defense, the Purple Swarm. How are things going for you guys over there?
It's going real well. We've been flying around, making a lot of plays at practice. A lot of guys been lining up right. Our coaches have been on us, working on the little things like techniques and stuff. That's been our main focus, is technique. And everybody's been flowing well and contributing to the defense.
It's a different scheme than what you've played in the past. There are going to be some times when you got 3 down. There are going to be some times you got 4 hands on the ground. There are going to be all sorts of different looks. How tough has it been making that adjustment through spring in this first part of camp?
It really hasn't been that tough. It's just a few different calls, different signs to it. But I really enjoy the new defense we have, 'Cause I was joking with one of my teammates the other day, and I told him I might get to play a little high safety or cover 2 corner because we were so multiple. So I told him you never know where I line up at.
Now, you played linebacker in high school.
Yes, sir.
You may get to do a little bit of that, huh?
Yes, sir.
That's pretty exciting to you.
Yes, sir, it is. Getting to stand up and getting to play some end and stuff. And as well as getting to watch my teammates move around. And just the other day, I saw Leroy Armstrong come off the corner like Jadeveon Clowney did for South Carolina. He made a great play. And we ran and jumped and chest bumped and stuff. So I'm really excited.
If you had to describe to somebody who hasn't followed Demon football at all, who may not even be a big football fan, describe this style of defense, how would you do it in a couple sentences?
This defense is very similar to the defense that the Patriots run and the Alabama Crimson Tide run. We can go from 4 down linemen to 3 defensive linemen in a heartbeat. A lot of athletes running around making plays, very physical up front, good linebacker play, and with a high emphasis on creating turnovers.
What are the things that this defense needs to do better between now and game week?
Just keep getting better day by day. You know, some days we might come out flat and then pick it up in the end, or start off good and then kind of fade off at the end. But we just need to work on keeping it the intensity high, no mental errors, and just create more turnovers, and we'll be okay.
And you've had a bird's eye view to watch this new offense. What are your impressions of that offense?
Very high tempo. They get a play lined up so fast. It's hard for the defensive line. We can't run around like we used to because we have to hurry up and get back to the ball. Then we got the little fast guys. We try to run around and chase them around. They can wear us out in no time. And mainly up front, you know, that's what I get to go against. And those guys on the offensive line, they work real hard. They stay out to practice and work, and it's really showing off at practice.
We talked about Varnado Dorm earlier, and Varnado Dorm, 74 years old, the opportunity for the whole team to be in there when you're not down at the field house or on the field. Talk about the value of that experience.
It's real cool getting to stay in one building with all my teammates, because in the past we would get done with practice and everybody go back to their individual rooms, and we wouldn't see each other until we come back to the field house. But now we see each other all day, every day, from the field house to the rooms to lunch and dinner. And it's really helping us a lot because you could tell we're really bonding. A lot of players that are talking to each other that really wouldn't have talked to each other that much in the past. And we get to hang out a lot with each other more now too.
You, as a defensive lineman, were coached by Coach Thomas before. Now he's your head coach. Talk about what he brings to the table, both as a coach, period, and now as the head coach.
He's a great coach. It's kind of funny now because like all his philosophies and his old stories, his old wisdom, his old jokes, he used to tell us to the defensive line, and now he kind of tell it to the whole team, and getting to see how they react to some of the jokes and stories he makes is very funny. But we're kind of used to it on the defensive line. But as a coach, he's a great coach. He knows how to work us hard, but at the same time, he gives us a lot of time to recover. He doesn't push us too hard. Like you can tell now that a lot of guys are more healthy than we were like last year, and he gets everybody going. He doesn't yell as much as a lot of coaches, but like you can just look at his face and tell like when you need to pick it up and work harder, and I like that about him.
All right, second scrimmage, extended scrimmage coming up on Saturday morning. How important is that scrimmage to the whole preseason camp?
It's very important to get to see how far we came from day one to now, being at our last time to really go live against each other, and for guys to compete and try to earn spots and, you know, just see how well we can put it all together for our last scrimmage.
What's been the thing that may have surprised you the most about preseason?
The thing that may have surprised me the most about this preseason will have to be our discipline all around. Not too many penalties, not too many, fights and stuff. We all been working hard, working together, and we've been working smart, and I really like that about our team now.